Hey guys, Andarin27 here, and welcome back to Timberborn. We are gonna pick up where we left off from yesterday, where we had just expanded our water, um, our water pumping and storage, and we're building a second explosives factory. We expanded out the reservoir district. Today, we're gonna continue along those lines and just keep on growing out. I think I'm going to try getting possibly a new farming district going up on top of the cliffs. I think that seems like a good idea, and I want to try to keep growing out. So we're gonna go ahead and see what we can do along those lines. With that said, here we go, and here we are back in Ironhaven. We have made a lot of progress on the explosives front, so we are gonna keep going there. As soon as we finish up this area, we will back it out to here, bring down our second set of stairs, and work on getting this side down to the very bottom. So we are making good progress on the reservoir, which is obviously a must, so that we do not die. And let's go ahead and figure out where we want to put this farming district. I mean, it seems like there's a really good argument to be made for putting some dams or levees up here so that we can pump water up here and have a natural river flowing. That said, anything that gets pumped into here is going to end up down here, and we have not left any room for that. So we're not going to do that per se, though I would not be opposed. I would absolutely not be opposed to putting up something along here and using some of our explosives to blow out a river channel along the bottom here. This would make a pretty healthy farming district. Alternatively, we could dam it off here, put in a channel running along here into this area, and this would make a phenomenal farming district. Probably not going to be workable by here, but let's find out. So first thing we're going to need to tear out some of these trees, because they are in the way. In fact, we are going to tear out all those trees, and we're going to work our way around and up. So go ahead and let them do that. I've already lowered that one floodgate down so that we can get our water back and get refilling our reservoirs, because that does seem to always be a problem. I want our storage clear full, if at all possible, when the drought starts. Floods would be an interesting addition to this game, I think. And hopefully they do. It seems like they have it set up. They're going to have some weather. To my knowledge, there is no weather at the moment. But that would be a really interesting addition to the game, if and when they do that. Would love to see some other hazards that you have to deal with. Not that the droughts have been all that friendly. That said, this has also been a difficult map. As you know from our journey on this whole thing, there is just not a lot of room for water storage. I've talked about alternative ways that I might have done this. Probably the biggest thing would have been to keep this district just long enough to put some dams or some levees even over here across this way, fill up this whole lower valley. That would have been so much more water storage right off the get-go, and you get dams and levees really easily. It is not a hard thing to get those, and they're cheap. They are very cheap, so that would be one thing I would probably do different if I were doing this. That said, it's been fun building the reservoir. We've expanded this out a lot. Our beavers are still working away. Oh, I forgot about the children. Let's go ahead and pause that before we have ourselves too many beavers. Alright. Get everybody back online. A little bit of flooding, but we've come to expect that at this point. Alright. Is this going to be a one platform? Yeah. Okay. Throw ourselves some stairs up here. and get our stuff going up that way. And we do know that these districts have a pretty decent reach from what we've seen here. That said, I very much doubt that they will reach this far, but we'll find out. We'll throw down, we'll throw down all of our beavers and see where they get, or throw down all of our roads and see where they get. There will be no beaver throwing in this game. That's just me talking in the morning. I think in one of my previous episodes I called it 6 a.m. logic. Yes, that was 6 a.m. logic. Everyone says stupid things first thing in the morning. Don't tell me you haven't. I know better. I've been around long enough, I know better. So, I'm going to go ahead and let them get this up and running. There's not a lot that I want to do over here at the moment. Other than maybe... Ow, we still have a shortage on beavers, but let's go ahead and turn our inventor huts back on. They won't have workers at the moment, but once we get some of our kits grown up, we'll get that. Having a few more dying of old age. That said, we have 80 here right now. We'll play that by ear. Obviously, we're walking a tightrope when it comes to these kind of things. As our potatoes, chestnuts, and bread go, looking phenomenal on bread. Yeah, we're okay on chestnuts. That's probably never going to be something we have a lot of, just for sheer availability. It takes a long time to grow chestnuts. So that'll always be something of a luxury. But what can you do? Not much from what I can tell, that's for sure. Alright. Get some more stairs headed up this way. And we'll just keep expanding. Our explosives, they're still working. Got a little more to go. And then we will explode all this. I'll bring you back for that. You can count on it. This is going to be fun to watch go up. Alright guys, I didn't quite get everything finished up here, but it's time. Where do we want to start this from? Probably right here. I think that'd be fun. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Got ourselves just one day left until this drought starts. And pretty much have this thing expanded out. We have increased our water storage a lot. That said, we've also increased our water usage a lot. I did end up turning on half of our breeding pods. We're having some death over here in the city center. And over here in the reservoir. Some of our beavers got old and it was time. It was time for some new replacements. So I think I want to get this up to... When we get these next 6 kits in, we'll turn them all back off and let it run for a little while that way. Our water storage is pretty much clear full. That is exactly what I wanted, so I am very happy with that situation. Honestly, could not be more pleased. So we're gonna go ahead. Oh, I wanted to blow this up, but they didn't get these 2 in. Oh well. What you gonna do? We'll get it next. We'll get it after the water level drops. Build up a little explosive store over here. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. We have plenty of storage because of this large warehouse. So they'll just build up a bunch of explosives, and once we have the water down, how bad is it? 28 days. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad, but like I said though, we filled up our water storage right before the drought, so literally could not be happier with our current situation. So I did just realize something. I was just looking at our beavers in relationship to this, and I didn't see where that beaver went. This little guy is within range, so it's not determined by building, it really just is determined by amount of time spent within range of these particular buildings or monuments or whatever it is. So this little guy, he was sitting in that rooftop terrace building up that. So that is how it works. It's just time spent in range. So I don't know that these statues over here actually were doing much. We look. Yeah, it must be because he is clear full. So I'd definitely be interested to hear how that works. That said, it is nice to know that even if the building isn't in range, they can still benefit from it as long as they're within the radius where it affects them. I want to look at one of our farmers. So are you getting any benefit from shrubs? They are. They are getting benefits from the shrubs. So, interesting. Just something I wanted to bring up. I definitely, if any of you know how that works, leave a comment down below. It would be definitely appreciated to know how exactly they figure all this out. Well guys, they finally finished it. Let's go ahead and see how far they can make it. They can indeed make it all the way up here. So with that in mind, I have a thought. So we're going to do a couple things here. First of all, I'm not going to do a levee or a dam here. I'm actually going to do floodgates. And there is a reason for this. Maybe we don't want to do anything here right now, but eventually we very well could want to turn this into a farming area, and to do so we are going to need to run water this way. Hold that thought. I hope that you guys don't hear that, but my son woke up and is playing in his room, so it's getting about to the end of my available time to record. We are going to run some floodgates over around here, just so that our beavers can potentially use this area in the future. And in line with that, we're also going to run just a few platforms over here so that we can cross. And that is not the only thing we're going to need to do. We are going to need to run a road up here as well, and put a dam in, not a dam, a levee. We don't want water ever flowing back out of this. So we're going to block this all off. Now for now, water is actually doing really well. So it really did just come down to having sufficient storage and not pumping it during the drought. Which makes sense. If you're pumping it, then in large quantities, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard time replacing it. You'll use all your stores much faster. So, word to the wise. Do your work during the season. Like the grasshopper and the ant, I think that's that old story. You want to do your work when it's the season for it. Store your water when the water's flowing, because when the water stops flowing, that's a bad time to try to store. You want to make that water last as long as possible. So this is going just fine. For a 28-day drought, we've made it through 8.5 already. We have plenty of water in storage, although it is going to run out. But we've still got over half a block up here. And yeah, we're getting this working. Now you might be asking how on earth we're going to fill this. Well, I'm not going to do it yet, but the intent is that we're going to put a water dump here. Just like so. And our beavers will fill that. So we're going to manually fill this thing. I'm going to pause that though because we don't want it. And I definitely will not be running this thing during droughts. Not any more than I have to, at any rate. And it looks like we are in this this little holding pattern right now, where we have a certain have beavers dying as others grow up. You know, it is causing us to have a little bit of a worker shortage. We'll want to get that addressed, and we will. As time goes on, we'll get that figured out. So have no fear. We'll get it all worked out, and it'll all be hunky dory. We're gonna build that. I don't know if they can reach that. Oh yeah, they can. We are getting to the edge. So obviously, if we were going to turn this area into a farm, it will need its own dedicated district. So our beavers are continuing to make some good progress up here. We've got the floodgates built. They've just about got the levees built back here. Once that's done, like I said, we'll probably go ahead and build this water dump, though I don't think we will have them actually do anything there. But we'll start getting that. I have been thinking about having a reservoir of water just for this dump. Getting water up here is going to be kind of a pain, but I don't think we have enough to justify the deep water, or not the deep water pump, what's it called? The deep mechanical water pump. So my thought is, for now at least, we're going to hand move it. And we'll just have our area right here for the beavers to put water in. We're not going to be drinking that. We're just going to fill it up till it's about halfway and call it good at that. You know, once this is half full, we know the water lasts a long time. This is where that job that I mentioned before, having a beaver whose job is to work the levee or the floodgates, would be really useful. Because keeping this thing full, it's not going to be tedious per se. It's just going to be something that gets old and pretty quick. But we'll go ahead and get our first farms going up here. The reservoir district, I'm thinking we're going to make it self-sufficient. I don't want it to have too many beavers, but just a bare minimum agricultural district. So the first thing it's going to need, I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of this water in. I don't think that we're going to overflow this area. I think it'll just be just fine. We have only 10 days to go. Our water stores are obviously clear full. We have plenty of pumps going to handle that. Alright, and I've got them turned off. Oop, I was not paying attention, but it did not matter. Yeah, this tiny little stretch of river does not have near enough water in it to overflow this whole stretch of river down here. So we are out of our water reserves. That said, we did, and I blew this up off screen, but we did get rid of that last little bit. Let's throw down our explosives. We have built up a pretty decent surplus, so I imagine they'll make some really good headway on this, and I will take care of that off screen and bring you back in a minute. Alright guys, so I've got that finished. We've got quite a bit of dynamite to put down here. That said, that is the last level of our expansion on this side of the river. So once this is in, that's it. I do want them to finish this as well, so I'll put this on highest priority. It was put down first, so they should run up there and get that finished. And I'll put this on high priority, so they'll come do that when they have a minute. And we'll get ourselves a water dump going. Now, even if I'll have to be very careful, because if they do build that, I do not want them pulling from our water stores to fill our little pond here. But that's not a bad place to be in. I don't know why they went and put down these two explosives here. That seems like that might be... Yeah, they're still putting them... Oh, No, I know what's going on. These are beavers from over here. They can still reach into here. I thought that the gate would stop them from going across the district, but yeah, it does look like they'll just go where they want to go, which is interesting. Well, it's not that big of a deal. How many explosives do we have over here in this district, I wonder? 9. They're still moving it over, but just make sure we've got. So we have had a couple of beavers die over here. Migrate a couple more. So we have everybody working. We've got 11 kits ready or growing up, so should have pretty decent. We have 11 kits growing up, so we should have some of our population, our unemployment, rebounding. This district obviously is short on workers, and some of them are in positions that they'd rather not be short. And there goes our water. Only 8.5 days to go, though. We have plenty of storage, so I think we will be just fine. I think we're at a pretty good place in our game now. That said, while they're working on this, they're not going to do too much else. I am going to go ahead and change my district distribution limits up just a tad. Well, apparently it does pause it during here. But I would like them maybe to have 10 gears in storage, 50 logs, and 20 planks. That way, as we start getting some of these more advanced construction projects going, we will have plenty of materials for them to do those. So, let's see here. Oh, they did come and finish it. Let's see how far. So, range-wise, this is out. We could get some farmers over here, so that'll be good. We'll definitely build some farmhouses over here and get some additional food coming. But for the most part, we are at our limit. So any growth this way is going to require another district, and we will probably plan that out in the next video. For the moment, at least, I'm pretty happy with where we are. How is our paper doing? Oh, we exhausted it all. So having the second explosives factory isn't really doing us any good. So I'm going to go ahead and pause them since we do still have a worker shortage. We can turn that on once we have another paper surplus. Unfortunately, although I wanted to have a little more to show you, I am out of time for this recording, so this will just have to be a little bit of a shorter video. I hoped I would be able to show off some of the new things that I'm planning. So we do have a water dump here. The drought ends in 2 days, so once that is over, we will start pumping or hauling water up here to fill our pond. In fact, I would actually like to put in a stream gauge, because we don't want to overflow this thing. So we'll put down a stream gauge right there, and once that's in, I mean, we know water can last a very long time if it's not being drunk. So once we start filling this, I expect we should be able to just top it off before each drought, and it should stay mostly full without too much effort. Obviously, our water did run out. We've been burning through it, but we still have a pretty good reserve. So I'm definitely pleased with that. Our beavers have pretty good progress made down here. So we're getting a more secure setting each time. The one thing that does worry me is that we get 2 really long droughts, one right after the other. So this was a 28-day drought. My worry is that the next one would be a 29-day drought, and we would be hard-pressed to stay alive. So with that in mind, I am also setting up a water reservoir over here. My intent there being that the beavers will be able to go along and sorry, having a bit of a brain fart. We'll be able to go along and put in some extra water for maintaining this agricultural district. We can pump it and place it up in here. In an emergency case, we could use it to fill up our water reservoirs, but that's not the ultimate intent of it. Now, that's going to require its own water dump, so we're going to have a couple of water dumps going. Hopefully this district can run it all right. And once we have some water up in here, which that'll be what we'll fill first of all, we'll get ourselves some berry bushes planted and get the turning the reservoir district into the agricultural district, or at least a small one. The main agricultural district, like I mentioned, is going to be up here. This pond right here, my intention is I'm going to put that as a... Oh, then there's the end of the drought. Our water is back. I'm going to have this be our agricultural farm. We'll grow some spatterdock and some cattails. And then we'll build a series of ditches along in here. Obviously, we can take advantage of this metal, and we will want to. And that will be exciting. I mean, I'm really happy for how this is going. I think we're going to see some major growth. I don't want to be too aggressive about that. Obviously, if we're going to have these districts, we're going to be putting demand on our water. We're going to keep growing out our reservoir. This side's almost done, and I'm playing with a thought on this side of running this. Since we have enough water in there, let's go ahead and close this up and flood our reservoir. But I'm playing with the thought of, instead of doing like we've done where I build stairs up and have them run all the way over, we're going to take advantage of the fact that it doesn't seem like there's any vertical limit to construction. And if I'm wrong, I'll put down platforms and we'll just keep on a trucking. But we're going to go along and we're going to detonate these in columns instead of by layers. So that'll be the plan moving forward. That said, if you like what you've been watching, leave a comment down below, like the video, and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.